What's it? All right, Tim with off-road, off-target. Off-road, on target. Man, look at that traffic. Praise God I'm not on that side. Oftentimes I'm driving on 26 right now, heading towards Columbia, South Carolina, southbound, and I'm seeing this northbound lane. Anyway, that's not what y'all are tuning in for. Y'all are tuning in for my update on my Chevy Avalanche. Man, this has been fun, and I really appreciate y'all giving me permission to just like record this journey. This on my 5th week of owning this thing, and I have had ups and downs in terms of what I think about it and my impressions about it and how I feel about it. And feeling's a big thing, a big part of it. Feeling's a big part of it, in fact. And you know, we got to be careful with feelings about everything. But since we're talking about vehicles, feelings about vehicles, they can be positive, they could be impactful, they could be helpful, and they could be negative. By the way, I've got some Manchester Orchestra like strumming in the background. Manchester Orchestra, man, I found this band on iTunes maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I heard a song. I think I heard a song on Spotify. Did the search and tapped into. So I've listened to about 3 of his albums there. I think his, whatever. Good, solid stuff. I don't even know what genre it falls into. It's folk-ish, acoustic, down home. I don't know. You know, it's not rap. It's not heavy metal. It's not pop. Or it's not trance music. It's not BPM. Anyway, whatever. Manchester Orchestra. So Chevy Avalanche. Let's fast forward. Week 5. I'm on my 2nd longest trip with this. I purchased it in Columbia, South Carolina. Drove it to Greenville. That was my first long trip, about 100 miles. I'm doing a 120-mile trip now. One of the things I do really appreciate about it, if you're thinking of a Chevy Avalanche, if you're considering it, is the fuel economy. Now, this is a 2011, and at some point, and if I research it post video, I'll write it here. They adopted the cylinder displacement technology into this, the Vortec 5.3 liter V8, which kicks on every here and now. I don't know the parameters of when it kicks on, but it does. But on just V8 mode, you know, this road is a pretty good example because I've got flat and then I have hills. So I do get a good kind of representation of what the fuel economy of the mixture is. It does not really go lower than, now I'm talking about the instant mile per gallon gauge, which I think is fairly accurate from what I can tell. What I mean by that is when I've gone empty and filled it with 28 gallons and done the calculations myself based on the mileage. And you know, it'll go down at 10 miles a gallon when I'm like going uphill, but average is about 14 miles a gallon, and that will tick up to 20 frequently enough. So if I actually take, you know, 10 and 20, the average should be more than 14. So let's say between 14 and 16 miles per gallon, which is PDG, you know, that's pretty darn good, I think. Once again, we're talking about a full-size truck, air quotes on the truck, if you've looked at my other videos. That's really good. So let's talk about why that's good, because I still have all the utility of this, you know, SU truck. It's like an SUV slash truck UV. And I got the bed, which I've got a bunch of my stuff in the bed. And I got the utility, which is what I love about it. And I use that word like love, like I loved my FJ. Loved it, loved getting in it, loved walking out of it, parked it, turned back, looked at it like, yeah! Walked up to him like, yeah, that's my FJ. I don't do that with this. So I don't love this, as I've said many times. But I do appreciate what it is. And I'm not going to force myself to love something that I don't love, because that's not love. So I don't love it. but I do appreciate it. And that's one of the main things I really appreciate is the fuel economy combined with the utility of it. That's the point, right? I mean, you know, freaking whatever Prius can get awesome fuel economy. There's little utility in it, so that's the difference with that. Let's see what else I really like or appreciate about it. You know what? Let's leave it there, because I said fuel economy and I said utility, and those really are the two biggest things. Now let's talk about, on this journey, what I really don't appreciate about it. This engine is underpowered for hills. For anything other than flat land, it's underpowered. And the trigger points, you know, like pun intended there, on the shifting, that really is not great. So oftentimes I put it in manual and just do the upshift, downshift on my own, which really help. Otherwise, this thing is like slow. It's slow to downshift, and really downshift when it needs it. And it just kind of like, the cars behind me are like, come on, dude. And I'm like, I know, like, I got to mash the accelerator in order to downshift it, unless I do it manually. And so many times I'll do it manually. Otherwise, it's frustrating. I don't get that. I don't understand the shift points on this. Back to, like, it's designed for soccer mom because it's on the Suburban platform, and that makes me really sad. And there's a Ford Raptor, which is what I really want, and so I'm a little bit sad for a moment. But let's move on. Yeah, so it's the you know, man, it's great for a Suburban on flat land. You know, hey guys, settle down back there. And that's not a jab. I got kids, so I've done that anyway. But so the shift points, I'm really not happy with that. Now again, I mentioned in the previous video, my cousin had Gen 1, and he did say that there are you know, chips or flashing that you could do to reprogram, make it more aggressive on the shift points. That's positive. And so I'm going to include that on a list. I'm going to do in another video, like my list of things I would do, priority things I would do to modify or upgrade or update this 2011. It's 2021 now, so I'll do that on another. Got it? I'll do that on another video. But that was my short like, dislike, little list there. Like, appreciate this, don't really appreciate that kind of a situation. And you know what? That's what's up. All right, Tim with Off-Road on Target. Boom, baby.